All right. So I am Trinette L. Collier of Trinette L. Collier LLC, Coach to Shine. And today is Vision. What is vision? And it's somewhat like a part two, but I want to say it's like an extension of what we did in December. So welcome. And I am going to start my screen sharing. So if you don't have your notebook or pencil, I encourage you to grab something and take some notes because we are about to take this thing to the next level. So I have with me my co-host, Pastor Gina Crawford and Coach Jarvis. And so I welcome you all. I welcome you all. Again, if you want to grab your pencil and paper, I encourage you to do so. And I am going to start with the screen sharing. I was about to say, if y'all can see my screen, give me a thumbs up. A thumbs up. All right. So again, welcome to Fireside Chats. This is a TLC complimentary check-in, monthly check-in for my coaching services that I provide. It is complimentary, and what we do each month, we come to you with topics of discussion that you may have some questions about. And December, we started it off with a vision board making. And so today is an extension, vision, make it plain, making it plain again. So an extension of December. So welcome again. And I know you all are trying to figure out, can y'all help me with this? Like, it's always that question, vision. What is vision? Vision boards, dream books, all of that. What is it? So today we have with us, I have some friends with me to help us understand this thing, helping us figure this out.
This particular, hello everyone, I'm Coach Jarvis. This particular slide I'm going to speak about, it's an individual jumping from one year to the next. And the thing that I like to express about this particular slide is they're leaving something and jumping into something else. However, they're not susceptible about taking a jump. So they're not worrying about the gap in between the year, which is what I envision as fear, doubt, things that will prevent them from jumping into the next year. Could you go to the next slide for me, please, Coach Sean?
Yes.
Thank you. The things that you want to focus on when you're taking that jump from one year to the next is, what am I jumping into? Do you have a clear plan in place of what you're trying to go? The thing is also, what am I leaving behind? What are you leaving behind to jump into a better future? But you also have to pay close attention to the things that you take over with you, whether they be friendships, relationships, bad vibes, anything that you can possibly think about that's going to render you incapable of reaching your full goals or obtaining the vision that you have just so recently began to incorporate. You have to take assessment of those things and kind of veer off into a path of the unknown so that you can make those things happen.
So let me introduce myself. My name is Trinette L. Collier. I completed K through 12 education, come from a military family. I created my master vision notebook. I completed HBCU, Morris Brown College, and Coppin State College University for my grad and undergrad with my PhD in school psychology. I'm married with two kids, live in the suburbs of California. My husband works in corporate America. I'm an active PTA mom, a community leader, the owner of TLC Child Care Center. Center of my life is family and God.
Good evening, everybody. I am Legina Saxby. I am a Grammy Award-winning singer, Oscar Award-winning actress. I'm married at 25 with first kid at 27 and my second kid at 29. Four kids by 35. have a loft in the city, a blacked out Jeep Wrangler with chrome, motivational speaker. I've been on a trip to Milan, featured in Essence. I'm an elementary school principal. I had my PhD by 30, open and own empowerment center for women, and I have defined my sexy by 30.
Hi, I'm Jarvis Jordan. I'm a medical doctor. My number is 7, so of course I have 7 children. I completed my degree at Harvard Medical School. My life revolves around family. I'm a youth basketball coach. I'm an owner of a clothing brand as well, and I live in the suburbs with my wife, who also works in corporate America.
And with that, we say welcome. So, a dream board vision. Vision. Are y'all ready? So, get your notepad out and feel free to take notes. Please do. A dream board or vision board is a collage of images, pictures, and affirmations of one's dreams and desires designed to serve as a source of inspiration and motivation. What does it mean to have a vision? Well, the ability to think about or plan the future with imagination or wisdom. The organization had lost its vision and direction. So here you see, what do you see though? What do you see? It's a blurry picture, and more than likely we have these dreams, we have this big vision of what we want to be, where we want to be, what we want to do, and it's blurry, but we see in front of us all of these people, the lights, everything is moving, going, but for us, when we're looking out into the world, it becomes blurry. It's very blurry because again, we don't have that direction. So what we're here to do today is give you some direction. Don't worry about getting magazines, your scissors, a cork board, or um, uh, any type of boards or anything. Don't worry about that right now, because right now what we want to do is walk through. We want to make this vision clear as possible for you.
So here it is. When you think about vision, vision is nothing new. When you talk about a vision board, it is nothing new. So I know a couple of people have popularized it over the course of the years, but don't be fooled. This is nothing new. It has been out since biblical days. So when you talk about vision, you're literally talking about to see. And to see, you're talking about the old English origin is to follow. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is, who am I following? And how is that helping me see how my life is supposed to be? So when you look at it from God's point of view, your vision, it says Habakkuk 2:2. That's what we hear most often about vision. So it is write the vision. What does that mean? That means it's okay to write down what you see. That means it's okay to write down who you see yourself as. Make it plain on tablets. Write it down. Put down a plan. Get a proposal. Get a to-do list. Draft your life. It's okay to see yourself doing certain things. It's okay to see yourself being who God created you to be, and even seeing yourself who He wants you to be, who you want to be, who you see. So He may run. So here it is. You go from what are my dreams? What are my goals? I'm writing down what I see about myself. I'm making it plain. Why? Because now I need to take some actions. Now I need to get on the go. So whoever reads it can invest in me. Whoever reads it can partner with me. Whoever reads it can be a part of the audience to help make this thing come to pass. So when you're talking about vision, you're talking about a God-given gift. You're talking about a God-given gift. We are all meant to have vision. We are all meant to see. Even if you are in the natural visually impaired, you can still see who God wants you to be. So today, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about what is that thing that God has put inside of you that sometimes you have yet to see or yet to take hold of because you think it's too big. You think because other people have done it better. But today, we are going to take a good look at what it is that you see. Who is it that you are called to be? So what does that look like? that looks like this. So of course, we are supposed to make sure that we stay focused. We tell our kids to stay focused. People tell us to stay focused. What does that look like? Well, that looks like this scripture. That looks like Proverbs 4:25-27. Oftentimes, when we're talking about seeing, you're talking about following, we like to look and get distracted by other people. So here it is. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for you? What does that mean for me? That means this: let your eyes look straight ahead. So she showed you the picture of a blurry vision. Oftentimes we want to see everything at one time and looking to the left and looking to the right and getting distracted by what this person is doing and looking at what somebody else is doing. But today we're talking about you. So let your eyes look straight ahead. Don't look to the left, don't look to the right. Fix your gaze directly before you. This year, look straight ahead. Don't get distracted by last year. Don't get distracted about the years past. Look straight ahead. Make level paths for your feet and take only ways that are firm. Do not swerve to the right or to the left. Keep your foot from evil. Pastor J, what does all that mean? That means what you see, stay focused on it, look ahead, and keep it moving. Drop mic.
So often when we, as Pastor G said, we had that gaze and we're fixed on looking straight ahead. We never take into consideration, sometimes we stand too close to the elephant. So with that being said, as you can see in this photo, the individual that's standing too close to the elephant can't see the big picture or see the full elephant because she's standing too close. Sometimes you gotta step back and take a better assessment of what's really going on, because it's easier to teach it than to do it. I can teach you how to do a multitude of things, but for me to actually do it for self, it's so difficult. And we have to become comfortable with having a real courageous conversation with ourselves so that we can incorporate our vision into our lifelong journey as we figure out what our real vision is, what our purpose is, and what God has really put us here for. Next slide, please. And on this particular slide, I want to just speak from a male's perspective on our quote unquote interpretation of what vision is. So often we don't really have a real sit down with ourselves to assess what our vision is or give anyone else concepts or different avenues where we see that we are incorporating our vision. And I think it's because, speaking from a personal point of view, we're caught up so much in trying to be the provider and the pleaser. And we are raised on, most men are raised on that happy wife, happy life. And we just forget about ourselves. And our vision is kind of pushed to the side because I want to push you to where you need to go, because I know you're going to support me when my vision actually has the opportunity to come into fruition. So we don't do the things that a lot of women come together and do, vision board parties and sitting and having that thought process of where I want to go, what I want to do, how I want to do it. We kind of do the big picture thing. So essentially, as the picture was given us, we stand too close to the elephant and we don't step back and have a real deal assessment of ourselves and what our real vision is. And actually, I see a couple of men on this particular Zoom call, and I challenge all of you to, at some point in time, figure out what your vision is. Your vision in life, your vision with your mate, your vision in your corporate world, your vision in your religious walk, your vision with God, your vision as it relates to leaving a legacy for your children, what you want to do for society, so forth and so on. So because we as men, we have to start to bond together like all of these powerful women are doing, and kind of come up with our own concepts and constructs and make schematics how we want to move as men and walking with vision and walking with purpose so that we're not quite left behind. Yeah, another mic drop.
I thank you, Coach Jarvis, for saying that. because again, that was the purpose of making sure I had a balance on the as co-host, because again, it's so often that's all you see are women having these parties or whatnot. And it's like men have visions too, and it's important for the women to understand their vision is not going to look like ours. So, and I had to learn that myself, while I'm trying to make my husband make a vision board like mine. It was like, no, he still has a vision. It's just not going to look like mine. It's not going to be all fancy and, all the magazines or the little cute little writings and all of this kind of stuff. But you all do have that vision. And it's very important for your significant others to understand that, on this journey. So thank you so much for bringing that perspective.
Definitely.
So, desires. Your why. Where do I begin? And if you want to, again, make sure that you have your pencil and paper. You can jot these down. Where do I begin? So we're going to say you start with your desires, your why, goals, and realities.
Wow, it's really good to see you again, baby. And I must admit, you're looking very, very nice these days.
So your desires. Y'all remember that song, that old school song? We have the desires, a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen, a desire to work in the dirt with your bare hands, or a desires a verb content, strongly wish for or want something. He never achieved the status he so desired. So, desires, what are they and how do you do that? Let me turn that on down because there's Rick James, gotta. So, desires, time to dump your brain and write your desires out. What does that look like? What does that look like? Um, Basically a brain dump. You're dumping everything that's in your brain that you have a desire to do. You're going to write them down. And you don't have to have them in any particular order. Just write. Don't worry about editing, grammar, all of that. You're just writing. And many times I have a notebook with me at all times, by the side of my bed, in my purse, wherever I can. And when I get these thoughts or ideas or just things, it's like, you know what, I really want to do this, I want to do that, I write them down. And again, this is from your brain. And you're just writing. Like I said, it's no particular order. I had to learn how to write without being in the order, because sometimes I like to categorize things, but you don't have to do that. You just write it down. Okay, so that is what I like to call a brain dump. And you're just writing all of your desires. That's it. You're just writing everything down that you desire. Pastor G.
So your fire and desires. And I want to go back and talk about, I'm glad you said no editing, because sometimes when we try to organize things and we automatically assume that life will go just like that, like the way that we organize it. And life is so not like that. So when you talk about no editing, whatever comes up, put it out, because sometimes we think that things are supposed to go in this perfectly synchronized order according to what we think. And it just doesn't happen like that. So, thank you for sharing that. So fire and desire. All right, here we go. Your why. So oftentimes we do things because, everybody's doing it. If somebody's having a vision board party, I can't tell you how many advertisements I have come across social media about vision board parties. Everybody's having a vision board party, sipping and vision, sip and see parties, whatever they want to call it. So you have to ask yourself, is this even for me? Why am I even doing this? Am I doing this to please other people? Am I doing this because it's the trend? Everybody's doing it. So when you talk about, your desires and what you want to do and what you see, the first thing you have to ask yourself, what is your why? Why are you even doing this? Why are you so driven to achieve this? Is it because of something that your parents wanted you to do? Is it something that other people are expecting you to do because you just seem like you're really good at it? And I think some of us on here can share that growing up, other people had ideas for our lives. And, sometimes we're pushed in those directions, but that may not be your area. That may not be your why. So it's okay if it's not. So what's so special about this desire? Is it something that you want because you saw somebody else have it? Or, is it something that you just think you should be able to do because you were a certain age? Or because you you are a part of a certain circle of friends. So the first thing you do before you even go any deeper, why am I even doing this? Why is this really necessary for me to move forward? And nobody can answer that question but you. You're the only person that can answer that question. So in order to answer that question, we're going to have to dig a little bit deeper to discover some things. And let me tell you, just because you started off life one way does not mean it's going to end up that way. Life is about change. So just because you were that person at 25, what you wanted to do at 25 may be totally different at 29. And again, totally different at 45. So whenever you're talking about dreams and desires, anytime you get ready to move forward, ask yourself, what is your why? So you guys have some homework. Okay, you have some homework. So here's your homework. And of course, go ahead and write these questions down. This is for you. It's not, if you want to share with other people, that is perfectly fine. People who are going to hold you accountable. But if you just want to say, okay, before I even start jumping into this magazine cutting, gluing, whatever I choose to do, why am I even doing this? Am I doing this because she said that, we're not going out to dinner if I don't get this vision board done? Or has somebody threatened you? So ask yourself, why am I even doing this? So here's your homework. So the first thing you have to do is ask yourself, what is hindering you, or what can hinder you? See, we don't like to think about ourselves. We like to think about other people. We like to think about other things, but life can be so distracting until we don't want to think about ourselves. We don't want to sit and take time to think about, to even think. You have to intentionally think about what you think about, if that makes sense. So here's how you do that. What's hindering me? Everything that I want, everything that I see, everything that I think that I'm supposed to be, what is hindering me? What is keeping me from doing that? And be honest with yourself. And oftentimes, I'm not going to give you the answer, but oftentimes what's hindering you is you. If you're real about it, who has you? Who has you? Who's got your back? Who has you? Are you trusting in God for these visions and dreams to come to pass? Who's your accountability circle? Who's going to hold you accountable for the things that you say you want to do? Who's going to encourage you? Who's your team? Who's that person that you can call on to say, hey, I don't think I can do this, but that person or those people that you can contact, that you can send a text message to, that you can email to say, hey, let's keep going. That person might be Coach Jarvis. That person might be Coach Tashawn to say, hey, keep it going. Let's go. So the next question, why haven't you? So if this dream, this goal, this vision is popping up now, why haven't you done it before? Why haven't you? What, again, that goes back to, is there something that could have possibly held you back? Are you thinking that you can't do it? Is it financial? Is it time? Is it that you just don't have the energy to do it? So all of these things are very imperative before we even get to the vision, before we even get to what we want to do. And the last question that you need to write down is, who heard you? Who are you talking to about the things that you want to do? Here it is. Now, you can't talk to everybody. But you find those people and you ask God to lead you to those people who you can talk to. Because oftentimes people who are really down with you are going to remind you of what you want to do. They're going to remind you of what you said you're going to do, and they're going to hold you accountable. So again, what hinders you? Who has you? Why haven't you? And who heard you? So write down those questions and take your time. It's not a rush. You know, you're not going to get graded. It's not a rush for you to answer those questions. But before you even move on into anything else, answer those questions for yourself and be honest. Be honest with yourself. That is the ultimate thing that I would say in order to move forward. Be honest with yourself.
So true. And let me remind you all that if you have any questions, we're going to have a Q&A after the presentation. But if you have a question, you can feel free to type it in the chat right now, and we will get to it. And again, we are recording right now for educational purposes, but after the presentation, we will stop recording and answer your questions, and feel free to write them down in the chat or write them down and have them ready for us and so forth.
All right, talking about goals. So if you look at the word goals, you see the G and the O are capitalized. In order to have goals, in order to move on from those questions, the purpose is for you to go. The purpose is for you to actually attain these goals, these things that you say you want to do, the things that you see yourself doing. So what is a goal? You know, what is a goal? So it's the object of a person's ambition or effort. Keyword in that is effort, which means you have to get up, you have to get moving. It's an aim for a desired result. I saw something that I think Sharia posted. It was, you know, everybody wants success until they see what it takes to get there. All right, until they see what it takes to get there. So here's an example. Going to law school has become the most important goal in his life. So I'm assuming that this person will do everything that it takes, legally, of course, to get to where they need to be. So when you're talking about goals, you're talking about ambitions, you know, you got to put the work in. You have to make the effort. So, of course, the first thing after you finish your homework is now let me get up and go.
And in establishing your goals while you're in the midst of going, I need for you to understand that those goals need to be SMART goals. You got to know how to set the correct goals. SMART is the acronym for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. I'm going to share my screen for a moment, Coach Sashan, to give them a visual of what a SMART goal sheet actually looks like and to actually go over it with them.
Okay, so let me stop sharing.
Okay, I should be sharing now. Can everyone see my screen? Give me a thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I chose this particular template because, of course, it's a startup for small businesses. So I wanted to actually, I think we deal with a lot of small businesses and business-minded entrepreneur spirit. So I wanted to kind of stay in that vein. This is a SMART goal sheet. It's going to give you all of the verbiage behind each word that is incorporated in the acronym, and it's going to give you an actual example. So when we talk in terms of being specific, it's what do I want to accomplish? Why do I want to accomplish? What are the requirements? What are the constraints? A lot of people understand the requirements, but they never get into the constraints. Because with those constraints, you have to assess and prepare a contingency for it because life happens. Nothing happens according to the way that you put it on paper initially. Something is going to happen that's going to keep you from actually fulfilling that particular goal the way that you saw it initially. Example of this will be to win 6 new business clients. Now, when we do that, we have to measure that. Does that actually make sense with everything that you have going on now? So how will I measure that? How will I know that this goal is accomplished? You do that based on what you are already doing as a business or as a particular entity or in family gatherings or whatever the case may be. In this particular example, They're measuring it based on the fact that they know to get 6, they need to have 12 proposals, 24 pitches, and 48 warm prospects. That would generate a response of 6 new business accounts. Then we want to make sure that that is achievable. So how can this goal be accomplished? What are the logical steps that need to be taken in order to make sure that this goal is actually accomplished within a particular time format? And they're basing that off the fact that they average 5 new business accounts and they are growing at 20%. So it makes sense to say that I want to actually acquire 6 more new accounts. Then you make sure it's relevant. Does it make sense to do it at this particular time? Is it even necessary to do this? Is this goal in line with your long-term objectives? This particular portion is the most important to me because I like for all of my goals to be in line with whatever my long-term objective is. So if I want to be a motivational speaker in the next 5 years, I need to be doing things, honing my skills and being in speaking, putting myself around people who are already in the business, so forth and so on, so I can make sure that that long-term goal has these short-term goals incorporated so I can make sure that I make this happen. And you want to make sure you get all of that and put it together and make sure it's time sensitive. How long will this take? When am I going to start working on it? How much time am I going to spend daily on trying to make sure that this particular goal is attained? And when you create all of these SMART goals, I like to dress all of this up with an acronym that I use. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard of it. It's KPIs, Key Performance Indicators. I need to actually document what it is that gives me the generated response of the goal that I've set. If I have a goal set to receive a bachelor's degree in 4 years, that means every year I need to be assessing where I am in order to make sure I get to that point that I want to actually graduate with this particular degree. You always have to, am I still sharing my screen? How do I stop sharing? You can start by sharing the PowerPoint slide. I keep talking as you do that.
Okay.
You always want to make sure when you're actually establishing your SMART goals that you're focusing on the particular goal that you are wanting to achieve in a certain time format. Make sure that goal goes with what your long-term goals are. So you don't just have a list of unrealistic expectations for yourself and you find yourself not setting goals anymore because the goals that you're setting, you're not obtaining them because they're unrealistic. You're not, KP is key performance indicators because you're setting goals of things that don't really relate to what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. As Pastor G was saying, you're just doing things because it's in style, it's the trend. I'm setting goals because that's the thing to do. Or I'm doing this because I feel like it's right because my circle is doing this. No, you need to make sure that this is applicable to what you are trying to do within your life, and it hones in your vision of where you see yourself in the next 10, 15 years, and stop being so conformed into year by year. Start setting your goals in year format, 5-year format, 10-year format, 20-year format. That way you will not put yourself in a box of following a trend because you've been doing it all along. You can go to the next slide, Coach C.
And can I piggyback off of that, Coach Jarvis? He is so correct when he stated not putting yourself in a box, because that was one of my issues in the beginning. And again, we're not saying we're 100,000% experts, but all of us are experts on talking on this subject because all of us have gone through these steps over time. And one thing I did find myself doing, I was placing myself in a box because that's what I thought I'm supposed to do with the time frame. And of course we're going to talk about the realities, but the time frame started limiting me. So he is absolutely correct on that. You try not to put yourself in that box so that you can achieve these goals.
Definitely, because you never want to put yourself in a position where you're setting yourself up for failure. That's the worst feeling ever. And in the midst of all of this, you've setting your SMART goals, you figured out your vision, you're creating this vision board. You have to make sure that you're organized. You can't just have things chaotically all over the place. Even when you do your brain dump, you have to take those thoughts and you have to organize them. And when you're organizing them, you got to organize your goals as well, because you can have a goal that doesn't coexist with your 5-year plan, but it may coexist with your 10-year plan. So you may need to move that goal in the space of the 10-year, and it's okay. It's no one way to do this. Do whatever works for you. And that's what I think that a lot of people run to Google and have Google dictate their life for them. You can't have Google dictate your life for you. You have to figure out what works best for you. You have to come up and sit down and have this. Again, I'm going to wait on this person mute. Because you have to make sure that you are actually put in a position where you're in control of your own vision, your own goal set, your own mindset. Because if you're just walking in the realms of Googling something and presenting to people, when you deal with people who are really doing this on a regular basis, they're going to realize that you're sending your representative and not your real self. And it's not going to resonate very well with them. So with that being said, get organized and really take this seriously when you're actually doing it. When you're actually sitting down talking to yourself, what better way to have a best conversation should be with yourself. You shouldn't hide from yourself. Next slide.
So what we would like for you all to do, and again, feel free to please write this down. That is the purpose of this. We want you to take this month of January or whenever you're ready, because again, you have to be mentally ready for this journey. Because it is a process. It's nothing overnight. It's no magic to it. We're not giving you the 10 steps to becoming rich and all of that. We're giving you the steps to actually to go in the right direction. So we want you to take this month of January, or again, whenever you are ready to begin the process, and write down these subtopics. Again, there's no particular order, but we found that these were areas of our lives that we were constantly being, we focused on: our career, financial, health, relationships, self-improvement, and spirituality. And again, there's no particular order. Pastor Dear, Coach Jarvis, did you want to reiterate?
I just want to kind of say, ask yourself, to even when you're talking about getting organized, if you could sometimes prioritize these things. Where does my career fit? Am I putting that first? Am I so focused on financial goals? Where is my health in all of this? How are my relationships? So am I doing this to improve myself? Or, where's God in all of this? So when you talk about all of these different areas, they're not in isolation. They all coexist. So when you talk about, my career is connected to my finances, my health, it's connected to my relationships. My relationships is connected to me. How does that improve me? And, it's all connected to my mind, my body, and my spirit. So when you talk about goals and you're talking about your vision, keep in mind, it is whole body. It is holistic. You're talking about your entire life. So every area of your life is going to be affected by what you do, by your visions, and even keeping in mind also, in terms of relationships, how do my goals and my visions, how do that affect the people around me? How does that affect the people that I'm close to? Is it going to take me away from them time-wise? Is it going to add not just to me, but is it going to add to my relationships? Is it going to add to my financial stability? So all of these things, is it going to be taxing on my health? Am I going to lose some sleep over this? Am I going to have to make sure that I'm in physical top-notch condition for this? So when you talk about all of these pieces, they're all pieces, but to the whole puzzle of your life.
Definitely. And in going through all of these, I want you to really be focused on, what do you value? So what do you value in your career? Do you value happiness, or do you value the money? Your finances, what do you value? Do you value long-term wealth, or do you value short monetary gain? In health, what do you value? Do you value the fact that you're going to go to the gym, or do you not? or you just want to eat the way you want to eat. And the thing is, when you actually sit down and come to terms with what you value, not what someone else values for you, what you value, you can assess all of these particular topics, and you can have a real coming to Jesus meeting and write these things down. And then you can look at them at a later date, and you will know if you're not keeping it real with yourself. That's the most important thing with this, even in just relationships, period. Just speaking on this relationship aspect, a lot of people get into broken relationships because they don't value the same thing. Somebody, this particular woman may value a man taking care of himself. You might, and then you're in a relationship with a mechanic. He don't care nothing about that. So you have to focus on what do you value, and what you value is important because that's what's going to make you happy. And happiness and peace is one of the most important things in obtaining in absorbing all of this information that we're giving you, because it's what's going to emanate out of you, because we're going from the inside out, not the outside in.
I want to add too, also, when you're doing all of this, your visions and your goals, that should be something, as he said, that should bring you joy. It should not be something that's going to be taxing where you cannot enjoy it. If you're not enjoying even the journey, if you're not enjoying when you get to that goal, if you're not enjoying it, then you need to reevaluate it to say, hey, this may not be what I'm supposed to be doing. So, we are reminding you that, even the word says you're supposed to live an abundant life. So, not that if you find yourself, my vision is making me tired all the time, my vision is making me frustrated all the time, then you might need to go back and reevaluate the vision. So again, and we cannot reiterate enough. And I love the way you put that, Coach Jarvis. You can't Google somebody else's vision and make it yours. It's not going to work. So again, make sure that these are things that are going to add to your life.
However, there is a however. All of this sounds good, Coach Jarvis and Pastor G. It sounds real good. Y'all got me excited about writing down this vision. I got all my vision board stuff. I got my papers, my pencils, my coloring markers. I got all that stuff. But I feel like there is a however or a but. I feel it coming on. However, you guys, welcome to reality. Welcome to reality. The reality is you must identify some distractions, some deterrents, and what are some things you foresee being obstacles. Now, I'm not just saying this. Pastor G, Coach Jarvis, what you got to say? Am I lying or am I fabricated? What? Because all that we said, we've been praying, we've been writing, reality sets in.
So if you look at the word reality, you see that real, the I in the middle to you. So you have real, you have the I in the middle to you. So again, you have to discover what's real to you. We often look at life, and so many people have, I don't want to say messed up, but for lack of a better term, so many people have not lived their best life. I'll put it like that, because they're looking at, and I'm going to put it out there, they're looking at reality shows. That's not your life. That's their life that they're getting paid for. So this is not your life. When you're talking about reality, what you see on television, that's not your reality. What you read often sometimes is from a person's perspective. So take what you can take from it, learn the lessons, but do not bank on looking at somebody else's life and trying to make your life a carbon copy. It's not going to work. So again, when you're talking about reality, you see that I there, it's real to you, that TY to you. It's real to you. So yes, when you talk about life, it's going to present distractions, it's going to present deterrents and obstacles. But the three of us are here today as testaments to say it can still happen. your dreams can still come true. And let me tell you something, sometimes even things that you didn't even think that you were going to do will come to fruition. And you're like, I never even saw myself doing XYZ. But one thing sometimes will lead to the next, and it will lead to the next. So don't be closed off to the doors that God wants to open for you just because it doesn't look like you think it should.
I totally agree wholeheartedly. And me, once again, I think the biggest word in life is if. If everything worked out the way that you wanted to, then you wouldn't have the opportunity to figure out happiness versus sadness, anger versus not being angry. You will be stuck in one systematic approach of doing things. And you know, it's good to have obstacles in your life because you have to figure out how to make those obstacles opportunities for growth, opportunities for advancement, because those are the things that really make you who you are. You have to go through something to get to where you're trying to actually go. What Murphy is always going to be a reality for everyone. Whatever can happen will happen, and it's going to happen on a regular basis. But you know, as Les Brown said, if you fall, land on your back so you can see your way up.
Awesome. Welcome to reality. The truth. The truth. I am a witness to that. So, with that, reality, realizing to reality, it may, like you said, it may not come the way that you think it will come, but it comes the way that God sends it. So, what's my reality? Remember, I introduced myself in the beginning. What's my reality? Well, my reality is that I am Trinette L. Collier Green. I am an educator. I do have my BS and Master's of Education from both HBCUs, Morris Brown College, woo-hoo, and Coppin State University. I am an author. I'm a radio personality. I'm an influencer transitioning into a new career. I'm a certified relationship coach. I'm in the process of becoming a master coach. I'm a business owner, a community leader, no children yet, both parents deceased. I was divorced and remarried now, and I'm a lover of God and life. If y'all remember, that's not how my life was supposed to be in the beginning. Remember, y'all remember I had boom, boom, boom. And again, because reality said what the reality was that that was not the path that I created for myself. I created that path and with good intentions because that's what I thought that I was supposed to do and who I was supposed to be. But reality was that this is who God created me, and it's in a totally different path, totally different. Never saw myself as an author. That was not on my original plan, if you all remember. Never saw myself as a radio personality. That was nowhere near my plan. I was supposed to be a doctor of schools, a school psychologist. That was my original plan. But that does not mean that I cannot be that. But that means that that was just not what God wanted me to do at that time. And still, I'm still praying on that again, because this is new. This is where He has me going. I never saw that my parents were deceased early in my life. So that was a big distraction for me. So in my original plans, my parents were supposed to be here until late 90s and watch me grow and have children, get married, this, that, another. That was in my plan. But that's not what happened. And I definitely did not see myself divorced and remarried. That was not in my plan because remember, I had everything written out. And I was stuck on that vision for a long time, you guys, a long time. But again, when I learned the purpose of vision and when I learned the purpose of my life and who God wanted me to be, I surrendered that and boom, I'm enjoying this process. I am enjoying this life. And it's not bad. And again, it what you have in your original vision does not mean that it's bad and it's not good for you. But again, when you turn it over to God, you have to really talk with him. You really have to consult with him and say, you know what, Lord, what is it that you see for me? What is it that you really see for me? Like I said, I educator, I was supposed to be the guru of educators. This was me. But you see all of this and more. I don't know what is there to come. Pastor
All
G.
right, here it is. So initially, you saw Legina Saxby, with the blacked out Jeep, with a little bit of chrome. So never saw myself, doing a lot of the things time-wise. So I want to speak to this whole thing about timeline. Don't be ashamed if you have not reached your goals by the time you think you should have reached them. Don't let other people make you feel ashamed. It's like, well, you should have been here by now, and you should have done according to whose timeline. According to whose timeline. So, that's the first thing I want to say before jumping into this, where I had my timeline, but then God is like, you didn't ask me about none of that. So when you talk about oftentimes that word will get us into trouble. So look at my and as must yield. My must yield. So anytime that my pops up into your mind, my goal, my plan, my vision, my life, that my is must yield. That means I must consult. I saw it in the chat. You must consult God first. Hey, you're the one who created me. So how's this thing supposed to look and how am I supposed to get there? Oftentimes, again, like you said, we fall on our face because it's like, okay, well, we trip our own selves up. He's like, well, you didn't consult me first. You consulted everybody else but me. So that would be the first thing I would say. So Legina S. Crawford, who is this child? I'm a pastor of PowerPoint Christian Ministries. Never saw myself as a pastor. Never saw myself in ministry. So God and I fought about that. I will sing all day long. So you mean sing more, right? That's what you mean. And he's like, nope, that's not what I told you. So here it is. I'm a pastor. CEO of the Power Experience, organizational consultant, ministry, LSC Ministry 633. I'm a wife of 18 years, soon to be 19 years. A mother of 3 boys, 2 boys deceased. I never saw that coming. So again, life brings on challenges. Life brings on things that we didn't expect, but it does not mean that life stops. It just means that life changes. Okay. So I'm a daughter, I was a PK. Coach Jarvis and I talked about that the other day. Y'all don't understand the life of a PK is a whole nother life in itself.
Preach.
So it's a whole nother life in itself. I have my bachelor's, my master's in early childhood education. I've been teaching school for over 25 years now. I'm currently in school as a doctoral candidate for organizational leadership. I'm an author, a playwright, didn't see that coming, an author, a playwright, a worshiper, and a songwriter. Y'all, I got some copyrighted songs. The letter came in the mail yesterday. So when I tell you the life that we see ourselves having sometimes, God may change the whole script, and be okay with that. Be okay with that. And once again, don't look at somebody else's timeline. My timeline was different from Coach Jarvis's timeline. Coach Jarvis's timeline was different from Coach Tashawn's timeline. But guess what, y'all? We out here doing the thing. And not doing it for ourselves, but doing it because that's what we were created and are created to do by God's divine plan. So this is me, y'all. Pastor G. Here it is.
You gonna share them royalties?
Oh no, we'll see. We'll talk.
And Coach Jarvis, who am I? As you can clearly see, is a lot different from what I initially sought out to be, the medical doctor with the kids, so forth and so on. But I want to start with when we was talking about the goals and all of that, and I spoke about making obstacles opportunities. I'm a PK. Me and Pastor G spoke about this. So it's like we have a target on our back. So things hit us that are like unbeknownst to man. So me becoming this person, I had to make all of my obstacles opportunities in my life. So I gave 10 years to the state, meaning I was incarcerated like 10 plus years. And I've done all of this in the span of 7 years because my last time in Bible college, which is what we call it, I lost my grandmother. And she was the most integral
Hold
part.
on. I'm sorry, Coach Jarvis. You said Bible college?
Yeah, Bible college. Yeah, that's what we call it, Bible college. Because everybody when they get incarcerated, they go to the Bible. God forgive me. God ain't gonna do it no more. They know every scripture from the Old Testament to the New Testament. Trust me, ask me a scripture, I can tell you off the top of my head. It's reality. We really know the Bible, but in the process of being in Bible college, I lost my grandmother. I was unable to attend her funeral. And that's when I was given a book. It's called A Purpose Driven Life. And the first thing in that book, it asks you, who are you and what are you becoming? At that particular time, I had 2 kids. No, I had 3 kids. I left my son, he was 5 pounds, just was born. And when I came home, he was a young man. He was 5 years old. You know what I mean? So I was gone all of his childhood. So I had to really come to terms with who I was and what I was becoming, because I've always been the nerdy one. School came easy to me, which is why I was doing all these other things, because I really didn't have to attend school. That was something that was like a no-brainer. So going through all of those things, all of those storms, or whatever the case may be, I enjoy the rain because no plants can actually grow without a little water. So you got to go through the rain. The sun don't shine on everybody all the time. It don't even shine on nobody all the time. We can get a little vitamin D, but sometimes you got to go from the rain. So this is who I am right now. I'm an owner of 4 businesses. JMJ Enterprises is one of them. Situation Media Entertainment is one. White Noise and Passion Purpose Coaching. Those are the 4 businesses. I have a bachelor's in computer information systems. I have a master's degree in business administration. I'm a father of 3. My oldest daughter, Amaya, she's 17. She's named after Aaliyah, the singer. My youngest daughter, Nadia, she's named after Nadia Simone because she's a fruit. She's bitter and sweet at the same time. Uriah, my son, he's 10. He's named after the Uriah in the Bible that was sent to the front to fight in the war so David could get Bathsheba. He's also a priest in the Bible as well. I'm a director of IT for Jameson Professional Services and Design Print and Display Group. I'm a mentor of the youth for Exploring Your Purpose, which is a nonprofit based here in Atlanta. I'm an owner of a nonprofit as well. My grandmother's name was Odessa Jordan, which is the name of my nonprofit, because I want to bring back the old school ways of doing things, because I want to give these kids, not only do I want to give them a foundation, but I want to give them ethics in establishing their foundation as well. I'm a certified life coach and business coach. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm a business consultant, member of the National Society of Leadership and Success, speaker, influencer, astute businessman, and in the process of becoming an author. I'm about to write a book for men, because there's so many of us that are running from our real purpose because we feel like we got to be macho. I got to get my guys in tune with the process of understanding that we are all 2 sets of energies, male and female. You just got to know how to balance it. And yeah, that's me, Coach Jarvis.
And you know what? And I don't want anyone to feel intimidated, or feel like, oh, or start comparing themselves, because again, these are things that over time
Right.
that have changed. This didn't come overnight. It didn't come within a year. It didn't come in 2 years. Pastor G and I have been on a journey together for, what, 20, almost 20 some years. And we can both tell you that these things came through a process of not just it, the sleepless nights, tears, the frustration, and happy. It's not bad, but what we're saying is it's a process. And again, because I can speak for myself, I battled with these changes because again, um I was so gung-ho about my plan. It's like no, and Pastor G could tell you firsthand, I fought becoming a life coach, or being this person is inspirational, is because I'm like, no, I'm supposed to be a teacher. I'm a teacher in this classroom. And when God will make it so comfortable for you when you're running away from your vision, running away from his vision and his plans for you. He will make it uncomfortable, because again, remember, I was supposed to become, in my mind, and again, my vision board, I was supposed to be on this doctoral process. I was supposed to be a doctor by 30, 35, or whatever. But again, that's not what God wanted me to be at that time, at this moment. So all of these accomplishments and where we are now did not happen overnight. And again, I don't know about Coach Jarvis and Pastor G, but for me, it wasn't easy to accept these things, because again, I had that timeline, and like Pastor D said, you have to throw that timeline away. And Coach Jarvis stated it earlier. Get rid of that timeline on your vision boards and your dream books, and so forth. So again, this is who we are. This is us now. Um,
And I want to add, Coach Shashawn, when she talked about being a teacher, we had this conversation years ago, and she's like, "Well, I'm supposed to be a teacher, and I'm supposed to be a teacher in this classroom." And sometimes we will box ourselves in based on somebody else's definition of what a teacher is, or what this person is, or what this profession is. So we had this conversation. I had to tell her, do you realize that you are a teacher in the classroom of life?
mhm,
Don't limit yourself to the classroom with a group of kids. Everything that you're doing, is teaching somebody else something. So, we have to kind of take the limits off of God, and say, oftentimes it's like, okay, I'm going to stick to this one little box. I'm going to put myself in these little boundaries. And you have to be open with that vision. You have to be open to seeing more than what you see immediately. Sometimes we get stuck on just sticking to what we see right in front of us. While that is the focus, don't let it be the end.
mhm.
While that is the current focus, don't let it be the end. So when you're talking about that elephant, going back to picture of the elephant, think about how massive, how huge the elephant is. So just because when you step back and you really see in totality everything that God has for you, and that's why he doesn't show it to us all at the same time, because he know we're going to mess it up. We're going to find a way to put our hands on stuff and mess it up. So embrace the journey. Step outside the box. Step outside the box and just allow God to do with you what he wants to do with you. And I guarantee you, for everybody that's on here now, you're probably living some of that vision right now, and you really hadn't even paid attention to it. There are even also people watching you. There are people watching you that you don't even know. And they're watching, trying to figure out how you doing this and how you doing that. So embrace it all, take it all in. Now don't stress yourself out about it, because it can be stressful, but don't stress yourself out about it. When I tell you, with everything that's going on around us now, I can't say enough. We can't say enough. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy every bit of this. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. So, again, don't put yourself in the box.
Please don't. And to piggyback off the comment you made about a lot of people are already living their particular journey, you may be that person that all of your friends call to talk about their problem. You've been a life coach all your life and didn't even know it. And those are the things that you pay attention to. And even when you're in the midst of the storm, sit down and pull the nuggets from it. Look at the level of just how much pain you can actually take and make it your purpose and walk in it. Because I'm so passionate about people, and I've been this way, which is the reason why I was doing some of the things, because I want to take care of the whole world. I want to save the world. But you have to make sure that your cup is full, not half full or half empty. You gotta give to the world with that overflow. And I had to accept that and understand that you cannot just change the world as one person. You got to do what you can do to offer the assistance needed to build a team around you so that you can make a global impact. And the thing is, if you, all of this makes no sense at all if you don't be 100% real with yourself and really think about what you want to do, the goals that you want to set. Grab the people that you love most, sit them at the table with you. You guys have a talk about it. Do it together and make it, as Pastor G said, make it fun. This should be fun. And live your life.
I agree, Pastor G and Coach Jarvis. But before we move on, I want to quickly ask you all this. I notice people, when you're trying to live your best life and you're trying to achieve those your plans, people love to bring up your past. What do you say about that? Because Coach Jarvis, if you look at your now,
Mm-hmm.
do people try to bring up your past to deter you?
The ones that do are they don't matter much. But the most of the time, I am forced to tell my story because I people feel like I'm the light that's going to shine on the darkness that is, because it's a lot of our young Black men that are behind bars and just have given up on life in general. And the thing is, when you think about it, I'm a great communicator. So a lot of people are not going to bring it up as it relates to me because I know how to communicate my whys and this, that, and the third. But when you put it in the lap of a young man who didn't finish high school, who didn't make it past the 8th grade, and the only thing he saw was his mom trying to make a way, and he chose to sell drugs to try to provide for the family, and he got caught. That man is not an animal. You know what I mean? He was in survival mode. So that's what I try to like push to a lot of people that don't understand the mindset of a lot of the youth. A lot of them are in survival mode. The only way they know to survive is the environment that they've been put in. If you put anybody in said environment, they're gonna conform to that environment. So if I live in little Haiti and it's nothing but shooting and gang banging going on, even if I'm a slight genius, I'm gonna be a shooter and a gang banger. That's gonna be my survival mechanism. I have to be that way. And the people, I will say this to get straight to your question, the people that bring up your past when your past has nothing to do with your present and your present is just the start of your future, they are intimidated by the person that you are. They don't want you to continue to push forward. And you gotta kill the ants, the automatic negative thoughts and the automatic negative people. You gotta get them out of your life. And you gotta surround yourself with people who want to see you continue to grow and flourish. Because at the end of the day, everybody got a story to tell. We all done been through something. My mama told me a long time ago, everybody probably is a criminal. They just didn't get caught. So,
Well, ants. All right, ants. I like that. So we are coming to not a close, but we're going to go through the resources, and I'm going to stop recording so we can do a Q&A because some questions you may have that may be personal, whatnot. But before we stop recording, here are some resources. And again, please write these down. What if your vision board came true? So this is a picture of a vision book. I have vision books. I like both the vision board and the vision book. I like the book because I can carry it around. I could just open it and add or check off and whatnot. I love the book. I'm not sure, Pastor G or Coach Jarvis, do you all have a book, or are you the traditional board or so forth?
I have a vision room.
Oh, okay.
So my office is my vision room. So if you can see behind me, there are some pictures behind me, and everything that's in here speaks to yes, I have my husband's like, she has a vision. So my whole room is a vision. It reminds me of why I sit in the room. It reminds me of when I come in here and I work, it's everywhere I look, it reminds me of why I'm sitting here. It reminds me of everything that I'm supposed to do. So yeah, I have a vision room. When I tell you it is, there's nothing else that can fit on my walls. And it's not, it's not for everybody. So mine is kind of categorized. I have a part of the wall is for my family. The other part of the wall is for my personal, how do I want to be physically? The other part of the wall is dedicated to ministry. The other part of the wall is dedicated to school. So every aspect of my life, when I come in here, it's you are in this room for a purpose. You are in this room for a reason. So no, even if I want to start to kind of procrastinate, no ma'am, look around the room. There's a reason you are in this room. So and I don't know, there's this thing about rooms now. So my thing is stay in the room. Stay in the room. Get yourself a place where you're going to constantly be reminded. We have scriptures. Well, I have a scripture on my side of the mirror in the bathroom. There's a scripture written on there. Songs of Solomon 2:15, where it says, the little foxes spoil the vine. So every day I look in the mirror when I get dressed, hey, beware the little foxes. So everywhere I look, there's a reminder of where I'm going and what God wants me to be and wants me to do. So that's my thing. I have a vision room.
Yeah. And I like that you say add the scriptures. And for people who may think this is religion, it's not religion. This is God's word. And again, I've learned that over time to add the scripture because he says it right there in the word. And Pastor G shared it earlier. It's right there. So we try to not try to, we do align the scriptures with our vision. And we will be hosting another one because I really want to really dig deep into those scriptures, Pastor G, and really put the, because I think that is a very important element for us to attain these goals and these visions. Because again, and not to knock anybody else's vision board parties or anything like that, but this is our purpose. Because I just over the years, again, elevating, it seems like, and I don't know about you all, Pastor J and Coach Jarvis, it seems like the higher you go, the elevation of your vision is there, and you're like, oh wow, it blows you. So I don't know what you all think.
I think that we are ever evolving. And, sometimes we think we get to a certain point and that's it. And it's like, as soon as you get comfortable with that, here comes something else. And I kid you not, it's that whole piece. So I'm a global thinker. And sometimes people have to be like, okay, bring it back, bring it back. I am a global thinker. So, it is where you're not allowed to get comfortable. Because if you get comfortable, you really would not live everything that's inside of you. So I think that is the plan. That is the plan to say, okay, you've reached this point. Okay, now I'm going to let you sit here for a second. Let's keep going. Let's keep moving. Let's keep being elevated, because it allows God to take everything out of you, so that you can bless more people. As Coach Jarvis said, hey, he wants to save the world. It's like, look, I want to be a blessing to this one and this one and this one, but there's so many ways that we can do it. And, sometimes we get stuck in a certain way, in a certain path, in a certain career. And we think, well, this is it. It's like, no, every time you get to the next level, okay, let me sit here. Let me teach you some things. There are some lessons you have to learn. So now that you've learned these lessons, all right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep elevating. Let's keep evolving. So I don't think there's ever a stopping point. The stopping point is when you ain't got no more breath in your body. That's your stopping point. So, don't, even age wise, don't let anybody say, well, now you're 75. It's time to slow down. No, it's time for you to slow down and get out my business so I can keep going. So, it's that thing where life is meant to be lived. And sometimes we forget that life is meant to be lived.
Yeah, and that's for me. This is me. I like to re-engineer all of the negative concepts. So I work for failure. I live for discomfort. because that's how I make sure that I'm forever evolving. I when I'm in the gym working out, I work out for failure. I do not just go in there to work out and just make my muscles just look like they're big. I work out till I can't lift my arms because I know that I've done something that is going to generate a response because of how much effort I put into it. And then in anything you do, it's always gonna be that obstacle. So just do everything until you fail at it. Keep doing it. Just keep pushing forward, and that's gonna put you in that mindset of continuing to evolve and always do something that you're not good at. Please do something that if you feel like you're a horrible singer or a horrible dancer, go sing and dance at karaoke and go do something else. I go skating on Wednesday. I can't skate at all, y'all, but I go and I fall and it's fun and I laugh at myself. And that's living life. So it doesn't have to be so serious. All of this is serious as it relates to you. However, it don't have to be oh my God, I got to have a vision board and I got to set goals. No, it should be fun. It should be fun.
So here are some templates, and we also have some some of the links to that you can copy down and visit. But here are some easy links, and again, I like what Coach Jarvis said. Make it fun. Like it does not have to be strenuous. You don't feel like it's too late. As Pastor G always state, as long as you have breath in your body. It's never too late. We just have that's just something man put on us. But here's a and they're very simple. Don't again, as we stated before, don't look at anybody else's vision board. This is if you just put one word in each category, that's fine. That's fine. So this is one template. Here's another template, and these are unisets. They're friendly for both men and women, and so forth. So these are some of the categories on a vision board. Here's one, the life goals, 5-year plan, daily goals, fitness, career. And something I've learned also, I'm not sure about Pastor G and Coach Jarvis, but I've learned to now incorporate my picture in on my vision board. Many times when we're cutting out the magazines, we have pictures of others, we have pictures of other couples and whatnot. So now I've learned to put my picture for me. I put me and my picture, picture of me and my husband on the vision board under some of these goals. And again, vision boards the court board, it may seem simple to some people, but this is their vision, their vision. Here's another one. This is pretty cool.
I wanted to also jump in and say you can make this a family thing. You know, if you have
Yes.
kids, you know, my son is 3. You know, we made just one little square little piece of paper. I don't know how well we're doing with it, but you know, he has it in his room. You know, you can make it for your marriage. So any area of your life where you desire to see things, you know, sit down and do it together. It can be a family event, you know, at the next family reunion, if it's still virtual, hey,
Yes.
make it a vision party, you know. So it's not just, again, it's not just limited to you. So everything that you do is attached to somebody else that's a part of your life.
Yeah. And here's some online vision board apps and websites. And for everyone that is attending today, I will email these out. So if you can make sure to put your email in the chat, I will email these out to you today, right after the presentation. So please make sure, go ahead and put your email in the chat. And before we leave, I will make sure to email these to you. And they have some, when I tell you I was up one night just looking at all of the apps, the new apps. Oh my goodness. And don't become overwhelmed, you guys. Don't overwhelm yourself with it, because again, it you have to find that fit for you. Okay? So don't like, oh, I got to do this. No, you sit down and you're like, okay, I could do this. Pinterest is one of mine. I love Pinterest. I'll get in trouble with Pinterest. So so yes, these are some online, and again, I will email these to you. And again, remember that a negative mind will never give you a positive life. You have to change that mindset. Dream, believe, do, and repeat. And again, we thank you for attending today, but we're not going to log off. This is where I'm going to stop recording so that we can do a question and answer session. And I'm sorry, you guys. And again, this is how you could connect with us. If you would like Coach Tashawn, you can always connect with me at iamtrinettelcollier.com. And Fireside Chats are free monthly, and there's just basic check-ins. But if you would like to sign up for a service, you can at iamtrinettelcollier.com. Pastor G.
So it's Pastor G. You can contact me. All of my information, all of my websites and everything are at Linktree, LSC Ministries. On social media, it is at I am Pastor GC. And feel free to reach out to me anytime you need to.
Coach Jarvis, you can find me at passionpurposecoaching.com. You can email me, Jarvis at passionpurposecoaching.com, or info at passionpurposecoaching.com. If you want to set up a discovery session where we can have a conversation, just reach out. We can talk.
So I'm going to now stop. So get your questions together.